Hello, welcome back. I'm Tonya from Tonya's Witchy Kitchen. How are you doing today? Not a bad day around here. Got a few things done. Washed dishes again. So today, this is not tea time and this is not Life with Spice, but I really wanted to, I'm just jumping in this, ain't I? Jumping into talking about cottonwood buds with you. So it's note-taking time. Yeah, so we'll just jump to it, okay? 3 things. Dream big. Be true to you. You are worth it. Okay, I got my coffee. Yes. It's not morning, so I'm did on my routine. I'm good. Okay. Yeah, so cottonwood buds. I've been researching these for the last couple years, and my only problem is there's like you can go to 3 or 4 different sites and your information is close but not totally possible, and it kind of sucks. And then I started looking up like products, okay, because there's this, it's called Balm of Gilead, okay, and it's made from cottonwood resin, and it's supposed to be this amazing thing. My problem is Wild Remedies is the book, and she has the picture of this beautiful infused oil, but it's red, and I do understand, okay, let's just we'll get there, okay, but my oil isn't red, and I understand that. Okay, so there's 3 main types. The Eastern, so the Eastern is the Populus deltoides, and then there's, well, see, here's my thing. One says it's the black, and then they call it Populus balsamifera, but then somebody else called it Populus niagara, and then Fremont. So those are the 3 main ones that we have in North America. That's fine, but when searching for the Balm of Gilead and what makes it, okay, because she says she can make it and it's red, and then I look at different products online, like Star West Botanicals sells them, but they were from Croatia. Yeah, Populus candicans. I know I'm slaughtering these words, I'm sorry, but but what makes it? Is it just because it's from the cottonwood trees, or is it a specific cottonwood tree? And it was really hard to find because it seems like they were all different types of cottonwood trees making up this Balm of Gilead. Okay, I'm hoping to put some pictures in here of some trees. We have a really old one on our place. My brother's place is super old. I showed you a beautiful one in the cacao video, the beautiful big bushy one in the snow, or where it's all snow covered. That is actually a cottonwood tree. That is a girl cottonwood tree. It's a girl dragon. No, I'm kidding. Okay. And my brother tells me the one that's right beside his garage is a male one, because the male ones produce pollen and not the cottonwood, the fuzzy stuff. The girls produce the fuzzy stuff. Why are the girls always the annoying ones? Actually, like mosquitoes and stuff, whatever. But actually, we just, so the cottonwood trees that are female make the cotton the weight, and it's a pain in the butt. That's all it is, though, is a pain in the butt. Okay, like in Minnesota, it looks like snow. Like they have so much where we go, it just looks like snow when it actually falls. But however, it is the male trees that can possibly cause hay fever, even though most of the time it's the grasses in the area, but people can, but it's the pollen that causes it. I just thought that was funny. Yeah, so we have a male and female on our farm, but yeah, I just find them fascinating, very fascinating. So those are the 3 main ones we have. Populus is the genus shared with true populars and aspen, so you have to be careful because some aspen trees produce buds that look similar, but they're really not similar. Okay, they can get super tall and they spread out like my kids when they're in my bed, you know, and you have that child that's just like sprawled all over. Cottonwoods will do that if possible. They will take up all the room they possibly can to grow. And they grow very, very fast, which is why their branches are so brittle. They look like gnarly fingers, if you want to call it that. This wood is used for storage boxes, crates, matchsticks, paper, plywood. My dad's favorite wood, plywood. Artisans like it because it's easy to carve, and herbalists like it because of the buds in the bark for, you know, medicinal reasons. So yes, we talked about the female and male trees. So we're going to be mostly, I think we have the Eastern style. And the thing is, there's 25 to 30 species in this category. They are part of the willow family. Did I tell you that? They are part of the willow family, or a cousin to the willow. They mature within 12 years. They can die off within 50 to 70. Somewhere somebody said they live to be 300 if the conditions are ideal. Some things you will notice are the rustling sound of their leaves. That's an obvious sign. I love that sound though. This is gonna be kind of choppy, but that's okay, right guys? It's choppy. So we use, as herbalists, we use the buds and the bark. And yeah, it's kind of like, okay, that makes sense. Buds and bark, part of the willow. And they are cooling and drying. Antimicrobial, antioxidant, inflammatory modulator, stimulating expectorant. You can make a decoction. You can infused oil, a poultice, a salve, a tea. I'm not sure about what the tea here she's talking about, because the resin, if you're using the buds, the resins aren't really water soluble. But you can make a tincture out of it and then put it in hot water to make a tea. Okay? So it's kind of a process, but it's okay. It's totally worth it. And honey, which we will get to in a bit. You can use it very, very good for colds and flus, congestive coughs, fevers, infections, pain. It actually is a preservative and supports skin health, not preservative to put in your lotion. It's not that type of commercial preservative, but there is a girl who makes lotion out of it, and she doesn't put a preservative in it. But that's not here or there. Yeah, so Cedar Mountain Herbs has an article, and they actually mix the buds will dissolve in honey, which is very interesting. So you take fresh buds. This is the problem. You need fresh buds. However, I've read that you can freeze them, and I do have some frozen, but I'm not sure like to put them in honey, because honey, you don't want to get water in it. Water in honey will make honey go bad. Okay, honey does not have a shelf life really, except if it gets moisture in it. So just a little tidbit for you there. So I wouldn't use my frozen, even though like our weather, I mean, these cottonwood trees have got their butt froze. I'm just saying, you know, we had this really, really, 50 below, 60 below cold spell. So maybe if you let them thaw to room temperature, then you could put them in the honey. But because, yeah, I'd go pick them anyway, and then they'd come to room temperature and they get all sticky. And yeah, the first time I started picking them, I wasn't sure if it was really it, because they're always like saying like, oh, your hands are going to get sticky and all this stuff. And I'm just, pulling these buds, walking around, finding trees. And I'm like, they're not sticky. Like, I don't know what the problem is. So I came home, left them in my little bucket. And yeah. Once they warmed up, then you get the resin on your hands. Yes. And you can take it off with alcohol or olive oil, or if you have my coffee soap scrub bars, that takes it off slicker than anything. Seriously. But anyway, okay, continuing on. This is getting long. Okay, fresh buds in a jar, halfway up, and fill the rest with honey. You can steep it for 4 weeks to 6 months. Okay, and you can strain it, and then you can use a spoonful in your tea when you have a really sore throat, or right. Okay, so the tincture, the buds, the cottonwoods, whatever you want to call it, pain relief from swelling, arthritis, strains, and muscle pains. So the tips of the branches. I actually have a couple branches here. My mother brought me. Isn't that cool? Do you see the resin on top of that one? I'm trying to hold it still, guys. You see the top one? You see the resin on it? So cool. Now aspens, you gotta be careful of. Cottonwood buds have the pointed end. Aspens are oval. They don't have no points. So, okay. And don't they look like gnarly fingers? Like arthritic fingers? Yeah. So pretty. I love them. Thanks, Mom. But anyway. So the reason she brought me them is she's like, I don't know if you need them, okay? And then when you pick them off, when you pick this bud here, if he's not green, they should be green. They should be, they shouldn't be dried up and look like they're from a year old. They need to be fresh buds. But my brother had a humongous branch break off of his, and he pulled it just south. And I was there picking, like I picked a whole container, and I should really just go down and pick some more because I felt bad because I'm picking off this tree, but the tree's dead. You know, it's broken off. It's gonna be firewood or just, decompose. So yeah, I decided I need to go get some more because it's just a waste of cottonwood buds. Yeah. Throwing stuff at you right and left, ain't I? Okay. But, okay. Yeah, I'll get to him in a minute. We'll get there. Okay. You can also use the resin. Okay. Resin is just right like that. I don't know how you would get it off though without melting it. And you can use it on cold sores. The oil works too, just not as fast, but hey, I'm all about that. It can help a hot, dry cough that's hacking and a fever. You have that combination. The balm of the oil, use the oil infused, or make a tea out of the tincture. Just hot water with that tincture. You can add some honey. It's actually really good. And put it into the tea. Make a tea. Helps with the hacking cough. If you're going to rub oils on the chest, or rub it on the chest, rub it on the back. Okay, your lungs are in the back too. Also on the neck, behind the ears, to help with that dry hacking cough. For menstrual cramps, women have found it helpful to rub it on their belly and their lower back. The tincture, if you're going to make a tincture, mix it with 151 proof alcohol or rum. We're probably going to do this. Do we do this? We could do this. Okay, so we'll do it in the kitchen. Steep 2 to 3 weeks, 2/3 jar full, and then top off with your 151 proof alcohol. Is that 75%? Is that what it is? So bee propolis. I'm sure you've heard of it. Bee propolis. It's really expensive. It isolates and kills viruses and bacteria. Okay. Bee propolis is mainly, its main ingredient is cottonwood resins. Don't quote me on that. I know it's resins from trees, and our bees are around a lot of pine trees, so I think they can take the pine tree resin, and because we had so many trees bust that last April, so many just busted off. If it would have been Christmas, I could have sold Christmas trees, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, so I read that it's mostly cottonwood resin. And maybe because it is a native to North America and there's so many around, I get it. But I'm pretty sure, the pine trees have to get credit too, right? But yeah, so that's where bee propolis comes from, is the resin of the cottonwood tree. Harvest the buds. September. I'm so glad I found September because the one in this one book I have, she always says winter. Now, winter to me is December on, January on, right? And this year I noticed those buds were forming, and like I said, my brother, his tree fell down. I think that was in October, November, October. We didn't have snow yet. October, then we had snow, November, whatever. Anyway, yeah. So, and the buds were fully formed and right there, and it was crazy. So I'm like, thank you for somebody who lives near me and can say they are here. You can harvest them from September to before the buds burst. Okay? Once those buds burst, you don't want them. Okay? Best time, don't go picking it off the tree. Don't go breaking branches off the tree because it damages the tree, right? But these things, because they grow so fast and are so fragile after a good windstorm, which in North Dakota, where I live, is like 30 miles per hour or more, because 20 miles is normal. After a good windstorm, you will be able to find these just laying around and scattered off. And the best ones are on the top of the tree. So guess where they're going to fall from? The tops where you can't reach anyway. So wait for a good windstorm to pick them or harvest them. Okay? The first, I'm not sure what this means. I get it, but so the first inch of the branch behind the bud contains the most salicylates. The most, which is, I think, the aspirin part of it. So I'm wondering, so you harvest the buds, if you cut that inch off, yeah, don't do that, because I don't know what it'll do. Okay? I don't know what it'll do. Okay. Cottonwoods are great to make friction fire. Remember as a kid when you're like trying to do that, you know, make a fire, right? I guess you can do it out of cottonwoods. We probably didn't use the cottonwood tree. Great for skin rashes, burns, overworked muscles, chronic joint pain. The bark, suppose you have to whittle it off. I mean, the bigger trees have bigger bark to it, you know. Okay, so there's bigger bark. And it's great for a bath herb. Okay, so you could, you know, shave it off and let it, you know, put it in a bag, paper bag, and use it in your bath water when you're feeling, when you know, achy joints. I should try that with my son. Not a bad idea. Upper respiratory infections, the tincture works best with the oil on the chest and the back. Throat syrup can be made using equal parts tincture with honey. Okay, so take the tincture, mix it with equal part honey, and then you can use it as a cough syrup, throat syrup, soothe syrup. Got it? Spoonful. It's actually great for skin. Helps with reoccurring warts. They found it works better than freezing them. So if you end up with reoccurring warts, I wonder if this would work with my grandson. Has some weird rash on his hand. It also is great for cell renewal and because it's an antioxidant. Avoid terminal buds if you're picking off the tree. The terminal bud is this bud right here. He's the bud on the way end. See? So if he was on the tree, you could like pick this bud and pick these buds. Leave them attached to the tree. That's the terminal bud. Yeah. I think he's the one that keeps pushing out. Okay. Oh, so cottonwood is a preservative of sorts. It's great to include a bit of your infused oil with your other oil-based preparations because it will act as a natural preservative. Yeah, because we're going to do a tincture. But 15 to 30 drops frequently for acute situations. That means medical situations, not just like I'm feeling crappy today. You don't continue to, I mean, you could take some, but don't take it frequently unless you already have something. Bark decoction, that's an excessively strong tea. That's how we make dandelion root and burdock root. Okay, it's a very strong tea. You don't just steep 5 minutes, you boil 30. Low boil 30. 20 to 30, whatever. Look it up. 2 to 4 ounces. 4 times daily for acute conditions. Okay. Care required. So, be careful of this if you are sensitive or allergic to aspirin. Remember, it is part of the willow family. Okay? Hay fever comes from the male trees. It could be from the grass around it too. Just saying. And there have been a few very, very rare occurrences of contact dermatitis, meaning they touched it and, it broke out. Very rare. Salve, we are going to make a salve with this. So they say is if it smells like crayons, which to me, I always think of like bad nuts if something's rancid. But if it smells like crayons, I'd like to know what kind of crayons they were smelling. Then it's bad, and throw your salve out. But it's usually good for 2 years. Oils, we're gonna make an oil, and that is good for about 2 years also. So that is all I have for you on the cottonwood tree and the cottonwood buds. So we are going to the kitchen to do some tincture, oil, salve. Infusing the cottonwood buds is what we're doing. And I show you the resin. This is my collecting cup for my and my herbs and stuff. And I left them in here when I got in the house. And because it was warm, they started to stick. Like, they really start to stick. But anyway, I have about 3/4 of a jar. So like 1.5 cups buds, 2 cups oil is like a thing. So that's like a, what would the ratio be? I can't think. 75%, whatever. I'm going to do half and half. I'm going to do half of my buds. And I'm going to freeze these because I'm going to go do some more collecting. So I'm going to freeze these because I have a full jar, or, full enough jar. So I'm going to freeze these. Okay. Ziploc bag, freeze them. And then I'm going to use half of a thing of, I'm going to go between olive oil, extra virgin olive oil actually, and sunflower oil, okay? So we'll put, what do you think? Start with 8. Okay, we'll go 9 ounces. I'm not sure how much this will hold, but and then I have my sunflower oil. I know you guys are laughing at me because they're huge, but it's like I don't take them out of the packaging because they go in my room where we, come on, make it 18. Oh, thank you. Woo! To the top. Okay. I keep them in my room, which has carpet in it. So this way, even though they're on a box and stuff, but they don't, leak. Okay. Okay, so here's the kicker with these. They're stuck together. we're going to cover them with a regular cover, okay? Just a regular cover and, you know, a lid and a seal. But I'm going to mix it every day for like a week or so. And I'm going to put them on a plate because they're so fresh. They might release, you know, and be, you know, so the oil will seep out is what it, you know, whatever. It's this process. Okay. So I don't want the oil to seep out on me. I mean, it can. So I'm going to put a plate under it, leave it in just on my counter, but in a darker spot. And every day I'm going to mix it for a couple weeks. Okay. You know, mix it. Okay. And then after that, after it seems to quit needing to burp, I'm just going to leave it sit there for as long as I want. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months. Some people do it a year. Okay. And that's really all there is to it, guys. Don't forget to label and date it. Label and date it. I just wanted to show you how it bubbles in the beginning. So don't freak out and it might run over. Just mix it every day until it stops bubbling and then you can cap it. This is one of our old cottonwood trees that is down by an old sod house. And to the cottonwood bud tincture. Look at these beauties. Can you see the resin on them? It's just beautiful. See? Look at, I'll show you some closer, some more. But look at that resin. It's that beautiful yellow, green color. And depending on the type of cottonwood bud you have, that's where the resin color can be different. I think the black cottonwoods have the reddish colored resin to them. But anyway, we are going to start making our tincture. And this is simply a 2-to-1 ratio. Okay. I think I'm going to put 4 ounces of cottonwood buds in my jar. And then, so I didn't want to use just Everclear. And I could use vodka. It's a lower alcohol level, right? Lower proof. So the only thing, if you do use strictly vodka, is just leave it infused longer than the 2 weeks suggested. Okay, just, okay, and you'll know because all the resin will be off of them, right? They won't be sticky. You won't, you know, if you mix it up, you won't see any resin on the buds anymore. Sorry. Thought I shut that off. Nothing's more annoying than my phone going off all the time, right? But yeah, so that is, it's really simple. But I am doing, because I wanted to get closer to the 150%, I am going to do approximately, I think it's 2 ounces of Everclear and 6 ounces of vodka. I think. I'd have to go look at my jar to find specifics. And then just, we're going to cap it with wax paper and a plastic lid. I do that all the time because my lids, I swear they leak. And it doesn't matter how tight I get them. And you just want to make sure that that you put them out of the sunlight. Obviously, they are in the sunlight right now, but it was for filming purposes. It's just a beautiful day. And yeah, so, and they will float. They don't do what they do in oil. They don't bubble. They don't, you know, the fresh herbs don't cause problems in alcohol like they do in the oil. But they really, it was amazing how fast they started, that resin started to separate from the cottonwood buds. I was shocked. Yeah, totally shocked. Don't forget to label and date this. 2 weeks, let it set 2 weeks. You can shake it daily. That's good. It's really good to shake it. Shake it daily for the whole 2 weeks. I don't think it matters. If you use a lower alcohol level though, make sure you can leave it set for, you know, 3 to 4 weeks, Just check your buds and make sure the resin is all off. If you still see resin there, sorry. Obviously, to leave it set. So this is like just that day after I did it. The alcohol was already cloudy and weird. This is a week into it, and I just wanted to show you all the sediment on the bottom, all the resin coming up, separating from the buds. This is the tree at my brother's that broke off. You can see is a pretty big branch. Okay, into the cottonwood bud salve. So in my book it says the ratio is 100 milliliters volume of oil to 17 grams of beeswax. Okay, so the kicker here is I am not using the cottonwood bud oil that we made. If you want to put it in a crock pot and heat it for a day to speed things along, you can do that, definitely, yes. Mine sat for about 9 months to a year before I actually strained it off. So it's quite well aged. And potent. Very, very potent. Like, you open that jar, you crack the jar. Oh, sorry, I'm telling you, I'm not going to go by what the scale says. I'm going to go by what the milliliters on the cup say. Okay, so, and that's the thing, because milliliters and grams on the scale will measure out the same, and I don't want to do that. But yeah, this has such a beautiful smell. It is just so aromatic. I can't even explain it. I mean, I have pine resin that I put in soap, and, well, it's pine. Look at that. That's the stuff on the bottom. When you tincture or infuse oils, you want to strain them really good. And I try, and then I forget to do the second pour, where you let it set and the sediment sits on the bottom, and then you strain it off one more time, and you leave that sediment in the bottom and compost it or put it in your plants or whatever. But yeah, so this is it's got a beautiful scent to it. This jar is so full, I thought for sure I was gonna dump it. Like, seriously, like, oh crap. But it smells so good, so good. And when you're doing this, I forgot to show you that I was videoing my beeswax. So I have the 17 grams of beeswax, the 100 grams of the infused oil, and then I melt it down in a double boiler, which can take a while because of the beeswax. And so you just want to, blend it up, mix it up really, really well. And then just depending on what you're going to put it in, I'm going to actually put mine in these little tins. They hold 2 ounces straight to the top. Pour it in there and let it harden up. It's just that simple. One thing I noticed, so when it was melted like this, you can really smell the resin. It's mixed with the beeswax. You can really smell that resin. However, when I was, once it was cooled, I couldn't smell the resin, as it's like the beeswax kind of held it together. Do you know what I mean? Like, shut it in, surrounded it. But once you use it, you get that beautiful resin back, that beautiful smell. And the best part is I always get to test. I always get to test. It's heavenly. My hands were hurting. Like, I don't know what I did to my left hand, but it felt good. Just remember, I'm going to tell you that again. If you have any allergies to aspirin, do not use anything with the cottonwood buds, with the cottonwood bud resin. Okay? Stay safe. That's how it is. But there you have it. The cottonwood bud salve. And this is just some buds that, this is where you would not pick them because they're already opening up. But anyway, there you have it. I hope you had a good time. Thank you for stopping by. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.